Ludacris, Michelle Obama was there, Oprah was
For
there.
what?
I, bro, I got the recording. Oprah, Angela Bassett, Noriega, um, um, like every single body. And what if we all took $1 and sent him $1, right? And he invests into some properties, and and hire somebody, or like being creative, like you were saying. Sometimes it doesn't take the smartest person
Well, you
sometimes,
got a lot
or
of that. You about your smoking your blunt or something?
oh no, I was I got candles and stuff, man. I'm a incense. I'm all about my vibes. I'm all
Oh,
about my
gotcha.
vibes. I'm
Gotcha.
all about my vibes. But
Like, man, Rashad.
I'm all about my vibes. But it doesn't take the smartest person. It just takes a creator. You know what I mean? Somebody that's creative, like, or a visionary. And within you being creative, trying to eliminate a problem. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember, but we may have had a guest speaker in class. We had a lot of key speakers that came to Brevard
Hmm.
that said some things that were like mind change, that was like life changing, but I don't know if people really caught on to it. I don't know if you
I
was
did.
in that one
I
class.
didn't catch on to nothing. Like, dude. Like, I think most of my college years, like I spent that thing like partying and playing ball and just trying to get through school so I can get a job. But then I realized, like, when after the whole big life changing event happened when my dad passed away,
Mm,
that's when I was like, oh shit, like I need to take life seriously now. Like
right.
I don't have somebody I can just fall onto and say, oops, I need you to bail me out again. I can't do that anymore.
Mm,
So, and that's why, like, whenever I came back from him passing away, I wanted to start YPBC. I wanted
mm,
to be taken more seriously. I
right.
wanted the teachers to see me more serious, and I wanted to be
Mm.
successful.
Those
It's
those
like,
our senior year?
yeah, actually, it was junior and senior year,
Okay.
because like that junior year, I ended up having an apprenticeship that I created from the Chamber of Commerce because I couldn't find real internships in the city. I'm like, well, I'm business minded and I love real estate, but there's nothing in town for me to do and stay here locally and make you guys proud. So they contacted these people and they found a salary for me somewhere, and they paid me to stay there all summer and actually sell real estate during the summer. So it was pretty cool, but I had to go out there and create my own success.
Hmm.
So it's like, man, it was tough going to a small school like Brevard, man. It's that's one tough place to find success afterwards
Hmm.
by just getting a Brevard College degree. You know.
Nah, man. Honestly, I it's too, like you said, it can make you or break you. It can make you or break you. Like I said, it's definitely a lot of gems that it took me. A lot of times it take a life changing event to bring out the fullest potential in somebody.
Yeah.
Like I had to go through my life changing event just in this past year. To be honest, I feel like I just crossed that line or reached that line where I feel like not that I depend on my parents or I depend on anyone, but it's comforting to know that if I mess up or I got time, or in those certain situations, or I got time to learn this, or I don't have to do this right now. Let me do this here. But those things sometimes hinder you, um, if you just have the smallest crutch,
Hmm.
if you just have the smallest little thing to have your back, sometimes it takes someone pulling the chair off and from under you to make that life changing event for you, or
Yeah, you're sure
or
right
to
about
change or
that.
to change your life. So yeah, and I've yo, this past year I've been through, lost so many things. Money ain't never been an issue. Like I've always been able to make money. Like you say, you can make money a lot of different ways, but how much do you really want, and are you really living up to your truest potential?
Hmm.
Those always comes back to, are you really living your life goal or your life path, which is ultimately going to lead you to the money, and how bad do you want it? So like you said, you was those that life changing event, your dad, and then you coming back to Brevard wanting to be more serious, taking more serious, and you
Now,
that
at
led you into
the
real estate.
time, like, just so you know, I was mad at the world, man. It's
Mm,
like even when I came back, to school, I had yet to even cry. Like like
mm,
all this time I was being strong for everybody else. I didn't
mm,
want anybody to see me as weak. Cause
mm,
like the last words my dad told me like before he passed away was, "Hey, be strong for everybody. Be there for
mm,
your family." So I'm like, man, I can't show any type of emotion. So
mm,
I was mad at everybody, and
mm,
even then, like for example, my pastor, like I called him, and I'm like, hey, my dad, the doctor said my dad will be dying by tomorrow. Just want to
mm,
make sure everything is still good as far as our funeral arrangements for next
mm,
week. Oh yeah, everything's taken care of. After my dad passed away, like everybody started to turn against me. Like at least that's how I felt at the time.
mm.
But I called that pastor, and he refused to have a funeral at his church. Like it's like everything changed. It's like he doesn't remember us talking about making funeral arrangements at his church. The people for I guess I don't know what you call it, the morgue or whatever. Uh, their prices somehow changed, and now I couldn't afford it anymore. Dude, I had to sell a business. I had to like ask to borrow money, and thank God people love my dad so much, like, cause like all of their my parents' life savings went into medicine and he like basically taking care of him when he was sick.
Mm.
We relied on the Congolese, the African community in Greensboro, and the people that my dad mentored throughout life. They were able to raise $30,000 within like 10 hours, and
Wow.
that's the only reason he was respectfully buried.
Mm,
And also a church that's not even a church I was raised in. I reached out to them, and they were able to take my dad's body, and we were able to respectfully bury my dad. So the church
wow.
I was raised in, I couldn't even bury my dad, and that's the church that my dad wanted to be buried at, or I guess wanted the ceremony to happen at.
Mm,
The arrangements was already made. So for me, it's like it kind of turned around. It's like, okay, so everything happened a certain way when my dad was alive.
mm,
As soon as my dad passed away, it's like
mm,
nobody remembers who I am. Nobody remembers who he was.
mm,
So I had to figure life out by myself.
mm,
So after that, that's like my first experience, like my first 24 hours of life after he passed away. So I had a guard up, like, okay, so I'm about to battle the rest of my life. How the
yeah.
hell, how the hell will I get through this
Mm,
by myself? So I was like, okay, well, I guess I need to take life seriously. I need to
mm,
make sure my mom is good. I need to make sure my family is good. Like
mm,
this year is my the first year that my little sister is at UNC Charlotte. Um, thank God she doesn't have any loans because I paid, I guess part of her student loans or whatever,
mm,
or her tuition. It
mm,
feels good to do that kind of stuff, to be able to afford that kind of stuff.
mm.
But all this would have not happened if that valuable lesson of, hey, it's time to grow up, time to be a man. If that didn't
Mm.
happen, I don't think I'll be here, man.
Right.
I really don't.
That's interesting because I mean you acknowledge, that situation and what sparked that change. And a lot of people like, oh, I'll be like this no matter what, or some people have this type of ego, but it's the most humble and the most successful people do know that your life changes with life changing events, and ultimately that's what
Hmm.
shapes your life. And Lord knows what'll happen, and that's not even to say that's and for you even to have that type of spirit, I already know how why you blessed, because a lot of people look at the passing of their father or somebody like, I mean, like you said, it was the worst situation for you, but ultimately, I believe, people pass on and they do put a spirit within you. They can touch you in ways and with the afterlife that they couldn't while they here, like
Mm.
they instill and put something into you after they're gone, and they're able to even carry you, and they're always here. That's my personal, belief is after they pass or anyone passing your family, they hear it some type of way,
Mm.
always in some type of way. So, and I remember when you came back and you was hungry. Yeah, I remember when I'm talking about just in football too.
Uh,
You was destroying everybody. I
I was a
don't know if
changed person. I was a changed
you
person.
you're destroying everybody.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you got all conference that year, or that led into that year of you going
I
and
did.
getting all conference.
Hmm. Yeah. Like, and all that was that, motivation. It's kind of like I had something, to I guess to play for, something to live for. There was more. It wasn't just for me anymore. It's like
Mhm.
I knew what got me to college,
Right.
but it's like because I already knew, hey, I wasn't gonna make the NFL anymore. So it's like
Right.
whatever. I don't really
Oh
care
well.
to get through this and go about my
Right.
years and work and retire and all that stuff. I wasn't thinking bigger picture.
Right.
Like it didn't take me till that happened, and then when I started taking life seriously, it's like doors started opening, and I started realizing, you know what? If I can do this in this amount of time, what if I can? What if I put my goal up even higher? And what if I go even higher than that? Just like I don't know if you remember when I used to work at Avis, started off as ops manager, but I was like, okay, so if I got ops manager, I want senior ops, and I got
Mhm.
senior ops. Well, I want airport manager. I almost got the thing, but then I left because my whole goal salary was to make minimum $80,000. So I left and went to Target.
Mhm.
And my whole goal though was I want to make six figures. That's my ultimate goal.
Mhm.
So I got close to it. And then I started making it. But then it's like life wasn't life wasn't the same. It's like although you're making over six figures, like you're not enjoying life as much anymore.
You didn't feel fulfilled.
No. But then I started thinking, what am I missing? Well, I have a passion in real estate,
Mhm.
but I'm not pushing real estate like I need to. I'm making good money, but like I don't want to be average. Some people are happy with making six figures and enjoying the rest of their lives until they retire. That's cool, and nothing wrong with that.
Mhm.
Like that's fine. I wanna. How about this? It's kind of like a saying, an African saying. It's kind of like there's a lion and there's a dang what you call it, a sheep. Okay, so the lion and a sheep. The lion is a damn savage. Okay, the lion goes there, like takes care of everybody, lives like a king, like he enjoys life to the fullest, and but he only lives to be like 30 years old. And then you have the sheep, like doesn't never takes any risks, follow orders, like he lives up to 90 years old, but like as old as a straight narrow person, never goes left or right, just stays straight like their whole lives. Dude, I'd rather be the freaking lion and live 30 years than the sheep and live 90 years. You can be the sheep and never accomplish shit in your life, and when you pass away, your kids are like, I wonder, mom, like tell or grandma or whoever, tell us about grandpa. Oh, he was a sheep. Who wants that? Nah, I want my kids to know, hey, your dad built this for you. Your dad left
Mhm.
you this. Your dad went through such and such. In order for you to be successful, in order for you to do anything you want in life. That's what I want. I want, like for example, for my dad, like over 1,000 people came to his funeral that he mentored.
Mhm.
This is not even including family. This is just like people he mentored and helped throughout his years. People he paid for school or when he was a professor. It's like it changed me. It's like my dad did all this, but he never even told me anything that he was doing to help other people. But he
Really?
was doing it. Yeah, he never like he never bragged about it. He never told me. I didn't know. All I
Mhm.
knew is all the time, like he had, like every time anybody had problems, they called my dad or my mom with anything. But I never like I was like such and such just called me again. I already knew it was a problem, and my dad took the phone and went to a different room.
Mhm.
That's how I was growing up. But
Mhm.
I came to realize it was more than that, you know. So I don't know. It's like life is just interesting as you get older, man. It's a lot of things in life that
Mhm.
shapes you to be who you are, and it's just interesting on how you want to take it. Like my sister, like she loves the straight and narrow. She doesn't like taking risks. She makes really great money. She makes like maybe like 150, 170,000 dollars a year. She's happy. I would hate that life. Like that's just not me. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of life you would like, but
Mhm.
I cannot live the rest of my life working a 9 to 5 and listening to somebody else change rules or come up with rules or asking to take time off. Man, look, we're
Mhm.
human. I don't need to ask you to go to my son's game. I'm gonna go to my son's game because I want to. Like stuff like that, man. I want myself to have a say so. So with what's going on in my life, man. So it's bigger than just me.
And now always going back, to that destiny type of situation, knowing what you want out of life and knowing how you get there. And for the people that, that doesn't, so what would you say to that person who there's going to be a second part. We're going to come back because I'm going to put these on YouTube and it's ultimately going to build up
These are
to.
long videos, man. You gonna chop them up a little bit?
Yeah, no, actually, it's a lot of good information. Actually, I like people to make sure they get everything out of it. Because it's really nothing that we've said has been off track of how you ultimately got to where you at. Um, because a lot of times we take for granted like the small things. It's not. Yeah, you want $1 million, but it's a lot of small details on how you get there, and
Hmm.
a lot of changes and a lot of things you go through during that process. Like those life changing events once you get there. But just that one detail. I know you was talking about the property that once somebody transitioning from working their daily life, what's the first thing? I know you're talking about the line of credit. If you missed that part, but getting a line of credit, the qualifiers for getting a line of credit. Let's touch on that, and we'll wrap it up. And then the next time we come back from the line of credit, it'll give another secret or jewel and how to acquire real estate. But just that one simple tool you were talking about, establishing that line of credit, making sure that you know the owner of the bank, going to a small bank. What is it one thing that they look at that they don't tell you, or something that came as a surprise in acquiring that line of credit?
Well, it's not really a surprise. It's kind of like common sense, I would say, really, because when you try to get a line of credit, um, of course they're gonna look at your credit score to know
Mm-hmm.
if you're worthy. Now, if you have over 600 credit score, you're fine. If you have under 600, it's going to be kind of a challenge. Another thing is when you go to apply for that line of credit, like this, like I usually or what I used to do is build a rapport with. It's kind of like they're the salesperson, but you turn it around and you become the salesperson because you're selling yourself to that person. When you sell yourself to that person, they can actually boost your score up because they like you. Believe it or not, they have that much power.
Really?
So I'm asking them, hey, so how long have you been at this job? Do you have any kids? Oh, you do? Oh, I like doing that too. Like you're basically building that rapport with those people. But over 600 credit score, build rapport with that person, have them feel comfort whenever you're chatting with them. And also, I'll go further. Try to see, hey, do you guys have savings account? Try to open an account with them to show that, hey, you're not just trying to get credit, but you're also trying to build a long-term relationship with them as far as business, not even business-wise, as far as personal-wise, because you're opening a personal line of credit, not a business line of credit. Just do
So
that.
you open up a personal line of credit and it's not a business line of credit.
Exactly. When it becomes business line of credit, it's totally separate things you need in order to apply.
So
But
the
start
so
out
to
start
a
out with personal first.
personal,
Yeah,
okay.
start out with personal and go that route. And what I'm doing or what I started doing is I started paying off without using my own money. I started using the line of credit to pay off like a car loan that I really didn't want. If you got a car loan that's like 7% interest, but that line of credit is only 4%, I'll pay that car loan off right away. And the check that you're getting from work, you put all that in your line of credit, and you basically X out the monthly payment for that line of credit,
Mm-hmm.
and you're paying the money back on your line of credit. So it's kind of eliminates that extra bill, so you can focus on other stuff. Same, or if you wanna get that line of credit and use that 10K to purchase real estate and flip that house with it, because that line of credit is basically like cash. You can take that $10,000 line of credit or $20,000 line of credit, move it to your checking account.
Mm-hmm.
Once you move to your checking account, you use it as cash. Hey, I want to buy that
What?
house cash. Yeah, it's not a
You
credit card. It's a line of credit.
line of credit, right, right, right. After a while, you can move it to your
You can
checking
move
account.
it, and it's like when you pay it off, it's back on ready for you to use again. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
love it. It's like, hey, guess what? You have it flip. Well, you buy that house, you fix it up. Once you sell it, you pay that on the credit off, and you start over. You keep going. So
That's
that's the easiest way to go about it without borrowing other people's money, and cheapest way to do it. And I would say start out at cities that have cheaper houses. Start out that way,
like you
and
said,
then build
Virginia.
up. Yes, Danville, Virginia
And
is a freaking. It's a gold mine. Like people don't people don't even know about it. And there's a new casino that's being built over there. It's a gold mine right now, man. People don't know about it.
right now they're coming up.
Yeah, and
And you
that's why
said
I got
what's the area?
Danville, Virginia.
Danville.
Yep. And that's
Word.
why I bought three right away. Hell, I think total proceeds from the two I sold out of the three, like in itself, was like what 46,000,
Mhm.
and I took some of that for 46,000, spent 12,000 out of that to fix the place I kept, and I'm about to put it on the market for 45,000. It's there's money in to be made over there, and the reason why it's so cheap because a lot of people there can't afford to fix these houses. So they just let it go and go to another house.
Word. That's crazy. And that's another, we'll get into that next time too. But you're also your strategy in acquiring homes. You're not just like the person that just going to a broke down neighborhood and rehabilitate it just because it's in the projects and then just spike up the rent way higher than everybody else. Like you say, you go in and make it affordable, for the area, and but not just affordable, making sure it's affordable in a comfortable setting, because a lot of people, what you call slumlords, go get a house, barely fix it up, you know, and just do the ultimate bare minimum. You at least make sure it's livable in some type of standard or some type of way. So, and that goes into your strategy. Another reason why you're always successful. But within that line of credit, as far as another key form, a, a budget for your first flip and acquiring your line of credit. Should I set my goal at my line of credit as 10,000, 6,000, 15,000? What's the goal?
Anything you get is a start, right? Because you're building that relationship. So
Mm,
if let's say you only get approved for $5,000, it's not the end of the world. With
right.
that $5,000, well, guess what? You can still purchase real estate. That can be like your closing
With
cost.
5,000.
Yeah, like you can still purchase real estate.
Mm,
That can be your closing cost, or you can use that $3,000 as earnest money to a wholesale deal. You like
right, yeah.
you can still do a lot with that money. So there's different ways to go ahead and keep making money off of you know the line of credit that you get.
And that earnest money from a wholesale deal is key as well, because a lot of wholesalers may not even take you serious, especially in this point in time. Right now with the market, and we'll talk about that next time. Your opinions on where the market is going. Cash is king right now.
Yeah,
The people that's going to win in a market like this, and it may fail or it may crash. Me and you never seen nothing like this in the mix of us actually working and actually doing business and
yeah.
knowing how it's going to affect our families or affect how we eat the
Oh
next
yeah,
day.
oh
So
yeah,
it's kind of new for us, in a sense. But based on history, cash has always been king. Anybody within this time period that can get a hold of any type of cash or any type of collateral, or if you're able to go to a bank or get any type of loan, or if you have that establishment or that trust with the bank, you know, you can actually win within this type of market,
yeah.
especially if you've got some earnest money as a wholesaler. I don't know if y'all are aware of any type of wholesaling techniques or ever heard of wholesaling, but that's where I would go in as a third party, come to you, you got the cash. I tell you, hey, I got a deal, or I got a deal, and somebody's going to sell a home. Well, the person that's selling the home, or the home that I'm selling to you, I don't own it. I just got the contract for that home. So, but I got the connection, which is you who got the cash, but they don't trust me, and making sure that I found you, or if you're ready, because you may not be ready this time, or it may be a whole bunch of other sellers that I'm looking at that may be interested. But because I got $2,000, they'll let me put their home on the contract, because they know, hey, he gonna put $2,000 down on this contract, or $1,000 or 500. He's pretty serious about selling his home, and he got to know somebody that's gonna buy it. So I'm gonna come
Yeah.
in, put the contract down, for $500,000, then look for a new seller or look for you, and you come and buy it. But that earnest money is real important in a climate like this, because they know you're serious. You're not just somebody that's trying to make some money, because we ultimately heading into a depression, and you're gonna wait around 30 days, 60 days talking about you about to sell this house, and you don't got nobody to sell it to.
Corona.
but but that's a real key
Well,
point though.
do you think we're going into a depression?
Ultimately, yeah, yeah. I mean, people a depression is, I feel, is like an atmosphere,
Mhm.
comes from the fact that people getting laid off, the rates and the cost of commodities and things of that nature are going up. Businesses can't pay their employees. So, you know, before there's an ultimate recession, they say, or depression, or which way or the other, both are hand in hand, really.
Mhm.
It's the atmosphere. People are getting laid off. It's in the news. Like I say, like it's one thing for somebody just to say it, but when CNN starts saying it, you might want to take it serious. You might want to start taking it serious.
Yeah.
So,
So, and you're
what you
right.
think?
I think the economy will make really, really big changes. But I also think when it comes to the real estate side, it's going to affect real estate in some ways. But for people who do their research, you can actually take this and capitalize on it, not on
Mm-hmm.
people who are struggling in the real estate side, no, but rather on the banks who just want to get rid of such high, like I guess, the money that they know they've already lost. They're just trying to
Mm-hmm.
get anything out of it to get
Mm-hmm.
that thing off their books. So you get an opportunity to grasp, homes way cheaper than what it would have been when the market is up. So I think it will be a good opportunity to definitely grow. And I think, well, not think, I know millionaires. There's more millionaires created out of recessions than
Mm-hmm.
there is when the market is high.
Uh, mm.
So, which is it's like even in stocks, like it's so cheap right now. You can buy something super cheap when that thing is starting to grow back up. Well, guess what? Like you're good. You got
Right,
so
right.
you'll be good.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's a blessing. To be honest, it's a reset button.
Yeah,
Everybody is able to hit that restart button. That's why I'm kind of
but I do
glad.
think it's much needed. It is much needed because the market was like way too high, kind of scary. I think it was scary
Woo!
high. Where I was just wondering when the hell is this gonna blow up? Because I don't understand.
You know what? And that's interesting you say that because I mean I know and like we've been looking at real estate for a while. Even I haven't been actively in real estate. I'm not the millionaire you are. I'm just the spectator
Yeah,
that's
hey,
lucky enough.
Rashad, you're not a spectator. I told you, you knew more than I did. Like, and I keep telling you, hey, like your success is waiting for you. You gotta
Yeah,
go for it, man. That's
yeah.
all it is. Your success is waiting for you. But yeah,
But looking at the market, it's crazy. Like the even in my area, like the people are really starting taking advantage of the situation of Trump and the things that he's doing, and people really started to get aggressive within the nature of how they price these homes and the market prices of these homes. They are like ridiculous. Too like just in my neighborhood, there was a house that went from 90 to 200,000, 100,000 to 200,000, like crazy. Like the market is
some
crazy.
dumbass will probably pay for it too.
You said what?
Some dumbass will probably pay that price.
Oh yeah, they did most definitely. It's a regentrified area. It's one of those areas that's getting regentrified. It's a beautiful home, but it went from listing as a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom to like a um 2.5, 3 bathroom or something like that, something of that nature. So they did expand the home in some type of sense. I don't know exactly what they did as far as the floor plans, but yeah, the they was really taking advantage of the market though. Like the value of homes was going from 200 to 250 to 300 with less than a year. So like you said, it was that bubble was eventually had to pop.
Hmm.
So it's very interesting. Like you said, another statement like you were saying, like a lot of millionaires are made at this time period.
Yes.
And so you got to just take advantage, especially taking advantage of the banks and their inventory. Like you said,
Hmm.
23 million homes.
And
So,
also, actually, I challenge everybody because the best plans and the most successful businesses are made when the person behind it is, I guess, either jobless, is trying to make ends meet. Like Amazon was created that way. Yahoo was created that, like, a lot of big monstrous companies were made in people's freaking garage, just trying to figure out what the hell am I going to do next. Like, your idea, and if you take that idea and apply it, you never know what kind of success you can get, man. It's and with today's research and today's access to almost anything you want in the world, it is the easiest time to be successful. The easiest time to be successful.
All right, bro. We actually can wrap it up right there. I'm gonna put these on YouTube, especially this. Um, they're gonna be two separate ones. I'm gonna just let it go raw because everything was very important. When we come back, probably maybe next week or sometime during the week or something.
Just publish that first video. The second one.
Now the second one was important because you were talking about the line of credit. Both of them, like I said, there's a lot of good information, man. A lot of crazy information that I know people don't know. I got some information important that I didn't necessarily know off top. So great information, to be honest. But I'll probably chop up the first one a lot more. But so yeah, when we come back next time, as far as how people look for homes, that key strategy. I know you have a team. You wake up the emails like you said, but the
I used to do it. I can share that, and what to look for, which I'm teaching one of my brothers how to spot good deals and how to spot bad deals. We can definitely talk about that, and also the method that can get you from starting to retirement within 6 months to a year. If you have a goal as far as salary in mind, and like, I can teach you how to reach that salary, within 6 months to a year worth of time, without using too much money from your own pocket.
we're just gonna give them one good idea from that.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, we might say that we might have to do a webinar,
But
like for real,
all
because
this
it's
information you can find publicly. It's not. There's no secret to any of these. There's a lot of gurus out there that'll teach you how they got successful. And by any means, I don't think any of them are wrong. I think some work for some people and some don't. But for somebody, a small little business like mine, in order for it to grow, I had to take it and change it up and make it my own in order to succeed. So that's kind of what I want to share. So,
right. Yeah, I want to put together like a email type of thing, like a webinar. So when people come in, they can get the email and make sure we can send them a copy as well. So a lot of good information, bro. I ain't gonna lie, appreciate it. So we're gonna touch on those key aspects and those key points that you just commented on, maybe next week around the same time or